Hi, it's Eugenie. I'm back again for another episode of Violin Technique with Eugenie. I post these Violin Technique videos every Sunday, and last week's video was the first one, which was how I practice vibrato. And since then I've been getting many requests to do up bow staccato, so this is what today's video will be. But if you'd like to watch the vibrato video, it will be linked at the end of this video, or you can go into my channel and you'll find it there. So now we'll get started with learning up bow staccato. I've just put my violin down for the moment, so I'm just going to show you and explain what the action of up bow staccato is like. And also, instead of just learning up bow staccato, I'm also going to incorporate down bow staccato as well, because when we come to practice it on the violin, it's better to go up, down, practicing it rather than keep doing retakes of an up bow. And it's also good to just practice how to do down bow staccato, because in some ways it can be harder. So we'll just do both for now. Anyway, I'll describe to you what up bow staccato should feel like and what you should imagine in your mind. What I do is that I imagine, you know, when you are driving or sitting in the car and on the road you see the white line dividing each lane, but it's not a continuous line, it has gaps in between. So yeah, if you know what I mean, then that's kind of what up bow staccato is like, because you, instead of a long smooth legato bow, you have gaps in between, so it's not a continuous long line. So what I do when I practice up bow and down bow staccato, I just imagine like the motorway jagged line, that I'm just doing a long legato bow, but at certain equal points in the bow, depending on how many up bow staccatos there are, I just quickly stop the bow before going on to the next one. But it's not a complete stop, it's just stop. It's like stopping in a continuous motion. So I'll get my violin and I'll demonstrate what that kind of is like. I'll show you on an up bow what this is kind of like. So I'll just do two up bow staccatos in one bow. So I'll use half of the bow for each staccato, just to show you now. So instead of just doing a long legato bow, I will go like this. Before you start the bowing action, you should start with a like you're doing marcato or accents. So normally what I would do to get yourself into learning up bow staccato is just do a few accented bowings, like, because that's kind of the same action that we're going to do to start off the bow. So you need a bit of a kick and momentum to start off the up bow staccato. So I'll go back to demonstrating the two staccatos in one bow. So like this. Like that. So you need a bit of speed to start off the up bow staccato at the point, because it's harder because we don't have as much gravity when we're at the point. And another important thing to note is that when you do the actual bowing, it's always good to remember that you have contact with the ring finger and the pinky finger, because I know that many people who do up bow staccato take off these two fingers and they just press quite hard with the index finger to make the staccato. But actually, I think the best way, for me at least, is utilizing all of the fingers, because actually even when we do normal bowings, the pinky finger and the ring finger are the most important to keep the contact. And when we do up bow staccato, we need even more contact, because we need to be able to control our bow and stop the bow in between the notes. So if you have more contact, if you just grip a little bit harder with especially the ring finger, you just push it in towards you a bit, it solidifies your right hand and just helps you guide the bow. So it helps you guide the bow. I'll do 4 notes in a bow, up bow staccato, and I'll show you down bow staccato as well, which you also need to use the ring finger and the pinky finger for. So I'll just divide the bow up equally for now. So that's what you kind of need to do. The effects, what your bow kind of looks like, if I close it up, is because if you can see there closely, you can see my bow, the wooden part of my bow kind of making a cup shape, like that kind of shape, which is actually what I envision the actual up bow staccato individual notes to look like, just little cups like that, not deep ones, just little indents. So I'll show you that again. And what you should remember is that when we do up bow staccato, you don't completely stop the bow in the middle and have a rest like this. Always want to have a continuous motion, because when you end up doing fast up bow staccato, which most up bow staccato is, you don't really have time to stop the bow properly in between each note. So we just need to have this continuous action of the bow always moving forward, but using the ring finger and the pinky finger would just be able to guide the bow forwards, but still able to have a break in between each note. Another point to remember is when we do up bow staccato, the best way to do it is to do it with a flat bow hair. So not on the side. We play with the bow hairs flat, because that's how we get the best equality and contact when we do the up bow staccato. And a really useful thing that I do to practice up bow staccato is I actually use the metronome, which even though many times you don't feel like you want to use the metronome, it's not a well-loved thing. Actually, it's really useful for up bow staccato, because what I do is I set the metronome to, for example, crotchet equals 40, and then I just do up bow staccato in between each beat, but I gradually increase the amount of notes up bow staccato notes I play. So for example, first I do 2 notes per metronome beat, then after I get comfortable with that, I do 3 notes, and then 4 notes, 5 notes, 6 notes, and just as much as you can, because you don't increase the metronome speed by putting more notes in between the crotchet equals 40 metronome beats. The up bow staccato will get faster. So you don't actually, if you want to do it even faster, you can change the speed later on. But if you do a whole set, maybe up to 12 notes if you can, that would be really good, because it's really helpful. So I'll just demonstrate it to you now. First I'll do 2 notes. I'll do up bow and down bow staccato, so I don't need to keep retaking. So first I'll do 2 notes per beat. So I'm just dividing my bow equally per note for now. Obviously when we have more notes we'll have to use less bow, but it's always a good idea whenever you do up bow staccato that you look at your bow, and if you have 10 notes, you divide your bow into 10 so you have equal notes. Especially when you're at the point, people tend to use maybe too much bow or maybe too less bow, so you always have, from when you start the up bow staccato, you have to make sure each note has an equal amount of bow, because that's how you get the best articulation and you don't get stuck or run out of bow, which is not good. Now I'll show you 3 notes per beat. Yep. Now I'll do 4. Now I'll do 5. You get the picture. So basically you just keep increasing it until however many you can do. I'm not going to do them all the way up to 12 because I'm going to run out of time. Anyway, so that's basically what you do. And then once you can do that, you can try doing it on its own however fast you can for now without, for example, you shouldn't practice it too fast from the beginning if you can't make it equal. So for example, if you can't continue it fast, then just keep doing it slowly and it will come along fine. You don't need to rush it. So just start slowly and then eventually you'll be able to do maybe faster rhythms. But you shouldn't worry about doing it fast from the beginning. Also, another good thing is practice the up bow staccato on all strings, because like I said about vibrato last week, every string has a different texture and in this case, it has a different angle, so it will be different on the G string to the A string, for example. And then what I do after I've practiced them all on the open strings is that I practice it in a scale. Yep, so I practice it on a scale, slowly. So I do down bow and up bow. So I do 1 bow per octave, basically. And you can start on the up bow. And another thing to remember is, as I said with the white line on the motorway, and you can even think of it as train tracks, you shouldn't lift up your bow at any point. It should always be stuck. It should always be the stopping motion. You shouldn't end up going like this, especially when it gets to the heel. Make sure you keep it like the level like that. But anyway, I think that's about it. That's how I practice the up bow staccato. Obviously, when you do the scales, you can speed it up. You can even use the metronome to speed up the you can even use the metronome to speed up the scale if you want to practice it faster, which is a good idea. Like that, the whole scale or whatever. And it's another really good thing is if you want to do the whole scale in an up bow, so all the way, a 2 octave scale all on the up bow, it's really good practice, and on the way down too. Because in many pieces, the most common up bow staccato is often arpeggios coming down or scales going up, so it's really good to practice. Well, you can also practice it in arpeggios, and there are lots of good studies that you can practice. There are Kreutzer studies and Mazas studies, and in those study books there are lots of up bow staccato studies which really help, and I'll post some of them on my Instagram as well. So that's pretty much it for my up bow staccato, but I really hope it was helpful, and if you have any more questions, please comment down below or message me on Instagram, which will be in the description below. But it's also Eugenie Violin. And thank you so much for watching, and please like and subscribe. I post these technique videos every Sunday. Next week's video will probably be shifting because I've been asked to do shifting a lot. So every week I'll alternate between doing a bowing technique and a left hand technique. So since today's video was a bowing technique, I'll do shifting next week. If you're interested in that, or before I start filming the video, if you have any questions or something that you want me to talk about in that video, please let me know and I'll be sure to put it in. So thank you so much, and please like and subscribe. And if you want to watch my other series, which is learning the violin from scratch with me, that's also on my channel, and I'm teaching my dad the violin. And I'm just giving all the tips on how to start. If you want to start from scratch but you don't have a teacher at the moment, then that's what I'm doing. So please go and check that out if you want. But thank you so much for watching, and see you next Sunday. Bye!